Give yourself 2 days in the Amazon, and you learn the first truth fast. This place isn't explored, it's endured. The canopy can turn noon into twilight, and the air into a maze, so going in is easy. Coming out is the skill. From above, it looks mapped, until clouds and canopy turn detail into silence, and every landmark becomes guesswork again.
Rain doesn't simply fall here. It filters through layers, so the storm you hear arrives on the ground minutes later.
You've heard 20% of Earth's oxygen, but the truth is messier. The forest makes oxygen, and it uses it too. This is why the Amazon matters. It moves water, pushing moisture into the sky that helps shape rain far beyond the basin. Here's the Amazon's rule. Tiny doesn't mean harmless. Sometimes it means pain so intense your body can't ignore it. The anaconda isn't venomous. It's a constrictor, built to squeeze breath away with patience, power, and perfect timing. In these rivers, an electric eel can deliver stunning voltage, enough to stun prey or knock a swimmer into panic. At night, the river turns to black glass, and black caimans patrol it like silent tanks you only notice when they breathe. The Amazon River isn't just big, it's powerful. Calm surfaces hide currents strong enough to erase mistakes in seconds. People argue whether it's the longest river on Earth, but by volume, it's the heavyweight champion. In water this cloudy, you can't read what's around you, so your brain fills gaps with fear. The Amazon's most common dangers aren't cinematic. They're small. Parasites, infection, heat, and the slow math of exhaustion.
This is why people get lost. The forest edits your path in real time. Rain, growth, and decay rewriting everything.
In 1925, an explorer named Percy Fawcett walked into this interior chasing a lost city and vanished.
Fawcett wasn't the only one. The Amazon has swallowed countless expeditions because uncertainty is built into the terrain.
Searchers went after him again and again. Some accounts claim nearly 100 people died chasing answers that never came.
Here's the twist. Technology is now finding patterns under the canopy, shapes humans built, then the forest buried.
LiDAR has exposed ancient road grids and settlements, proof the Amazon wasn't an empty wilderness. It was managed. On the ground, the evidence is quieter. Soil layers, charcoal, and fragments that hint at lives the jungle tried to erase. Some Amazon soils are surprisingly fertile because people engineered them. Dark earth that can stay productive for centuries. In places like Acre, geometric earthworks appear like scars, massive designs made long before model maps existed.
No one calls these undiscovered, but many are unstudied, and the forest will reclaim them the moment attention fades.
Millions live in the Amazon basin, and hundreds of indigenous peoples have shaped these landscapes for generations. The modern danger isn't only nature. In some regions, illegal mining and logging turn the forest into contested ground. In 2022, a journalist and an indigenous expert were killed here, reminding the world that reporting can be deadly.
There's no single missing count for the Amazon, but cases like this show how risk comes from more than wildlife. This is why satellites can't solve the Amazon. Clouds hide the ground, and the canopy hides what's underneath.
Space-based lasers can measure forest structure in 3D, but they still don't read every secret buried under leaves.
New species are still described from this region regularly, proof that known and unknown shift every year.
Even iconic animals like the pink river dolphin are hard to study here because visibility, distance, and logistics fight you.
When drought hits, the Amazon's rivers shrink fast, and wildlife suffers in ways that rarely make it into travel fantasies. Fire doesn't need to consume the whole forest to change it. Smoke, stress, and fragmentation can do lasting damage. Deforestation isn't just trees disappearing. It's habitat splitting into islands, changing temperature, moisture, and the rules of survival. Some Amazon mysteries are microscopic, structures so strange that scientists had to watch them unfold to understand. It wasn't an alien artifact. It was a nursery. A spider built a fence to trap food for its young.
In Peru, a boiling river can reach near scalding temperatures, an extreme geothermal anomaly hidden under ordinary-looking jungle.
In 2019, a humpback whale was found far inland on Marajo Island, likely moved by storms and tides. That case shows how impossible things happen here, because water, weather, and geography can carry anything farther than logic expects.
In 2007, endurance swimmer Martin Strel reportedly swam the Amazon in about 66 days.
Even with a team, safety meant strategy, keeping predators away, watching currents.
When people vanish here, it's rarely one dramatic moment. It's a chain: fatigue, weather, injury, and distance. Search operations are brutal here. Visibility is short, communication is fragile, and the terrain punishes every hour. Even from the air, the forest repeats itself. Green patterns that make navigation and rescue feel like searching for one grain of sand.
People ask why we haven't mapped everything. Start with this. The Amazon is often hidden by weather for weeks.
And even when the sky clears, canopy cover can degrade signals, so precise location becomes a moving target.
In 2024, researchers reported an anaconda species new to science, proof that even headline animals still hold surprises.
Every new species starts like this: careful notice, samples, and years of work to prove it's truly different.
Isn't undiscovered. It's unfinished, layered enough to hide cities, species, and stories in plain sight. Across parts of the Amazon, hundreds of massive earthworks appear from the air, proof the forest can hide civilization-sized footprints. On the ground, these shapes almost disappear, because the Amazon doesn't preserve ruins. It absorbs them.
LiDAR doesn't prove every legend, but it proves this. Under trees, straight lines can survive for centuries. Some Amazon black earth is human-made, engineered fertility that outlived the people who created it.
Colombia's Amazon region, rock art suggests people witnessed Ice Age animals, hinting human presence here goes back far deeper.
Those paintings aren't just art, they're data, capturing a landscape that once looked nothing like the rainforest we see now.
You may hear about walking trees, but the reality is slower. Roots adapt and spread.
The scariest threats can be microscopic: parasites, viruses, bacteria, because in humid heat, biology moves faster than you do.
This is why undiscovered survives. Even when you're looking directly at life here, it can disappear in seconds.
Illegal mining can poison rivers with heavy metals, damage that travels farther than the machines you see on shore.
For many families, the Amazon is home and food. So when rivers change, it's not abstract science.
The Amazon doesn't keep clean timelines. Storms, currents, and vegetation erase evidence fast, turning searches into probability. In 2019, a young humpback whale was found inland in Brazil, an eerie reminder that currents can move bodies improbably.
A powerful storm surge, driven by unprecedented rainfall, is now consuming the lowland Amazonian forest.
The Amazon's greatest mystery is density. Too many species, too many interactions happening at once to fully catalog.
Even with camera traps, you often get fragments. One blurred frame that proves something exists, but not what it is.
This is why undiscovered persists. The forest can hide people, animals, and entire histories behind a curtain of green.
The deeper we go, the story changes, because in the Amazon, nature, history, and modern conflict overlap in one place. In the Amazon, silence is a signal. Sometimes the ecosystem knows something is moving long before you do.
Big spiders look terrifying, but the real fear is how many smaller bites and stings you'll never see coming.
Bright colors can be a warning label, nature's way of saying, don't touch, even when it looks harmless.
Here's the truth. Disease risk isn't dramatic, it's statistical. Built from thousands of bites and you can't block forever.
You've heard piranha horror stories, but most of the time, the river's danger is the water itself.
Currents, mud, and fatigue hurt more people than predators because they feel safe, until they suddenly aren't.
At night, they're just eyes. By day, you understand the size and why the river demands respect. To study life up there, scientists build temporary worlds in the trees because the canopy is its own ecosystem.
Above the canopy, apex hunters rule too. Predation happens vertically, where you rarely look and cameras rarely reach.
Pick one tree and you can film a whole food web. Predators, prey, and parasites stacked on the same bark.
Rain resets the Amazon in minutes, Trails vanish, rivers rise, and any plan you had becomes weather dependent.
People underestimate this river because it looks slow until you realize it's carrying forests, not just water.
How people get in trouble. No single disaster, just hours slipping away until daylight becomes your most valuable resource.
One reason complete discovery fails is political. This ecosystem spans jurisdictions, language, laws, and competing priorities.
Logistics are a wall. Fuel, food, medicine, and weather windows decide where humans can even attempt fieldwork.
Some areas are dangerous for a different reason. Conflicts over resources can make the rainforest as risky as the wildlife.
This is discovery in real life. Tiny samples, careful notes, and years of verification before anyone can call it new.
Most Amazon species won't look dramatic on camera, but under magnification, they're as complex as machines.
Sometimes discovery comes from loss. When trees fall, ancient shapes appear, revealing what the forest had been hiding.
There are still groups living in voluntary isolation, and the most ethical camera move is often to turn away.
Not every disappearance is wilderness, sometimes it's violence, making the Amazon's missing stories harder to count than anyone admits.
Explorers didn't stop coming. What changed is the toolkit, but the forest still decides what it reveals.
Field science here is a negotiation between weather fatigue and the fact you can't control what's watching you. The Amazon can injure you without claws. Heat, dehydration, infection, and exhaustion can stack until you can't think straight. Even when animals are close, you often get only fragments because the Amazon is built to hide motion.
Every expedition adds data, but the dataset will never be complete because the system keeps changing while we measure it.
Even the sky fights. Your survey cloud cover returns again and again, breaking long-term observation into short windows.
Most dangerous encounters are the ones that almost happen, because camouflage is the Amazon's oldest survival technology. We haven't even reached deepest layer yet, because the Amazon's biggest secrets aren't scenic. They're hidden in systems. People call it undiscovered, but what they mean is this: no one can hold the whole Amazon in one frame.
Survey flights plan for geometry, then weather rewrites the plan, and the forest goes back to being a blank. Even in the modern era, communication is fragile rain canopy, and distance can turn rescue into a delayed equation.
In the Amazon, small water is a trap, because overnight, it can become the route that carries you away.
Survival isn't heroic here. It's hydration, clean water, and infection control, repeated every day without shortcuts.
The Amazon's power isn't just big animals. It's the small workers moving biomass non-stop, reshaping the forest daily.
Under your boots, fungi trade nutrients and information. An invisible economy that keeps the Amazon alive during chaos.
Prey animals here don't panic. They calculate constantly, because water and forest edges are where hunts begin.
Piranhas aren't mindless machines. They're opportunists reacting to conditions, and most days they avoid you. Some predators hunt as teams. Giant river otters coordinate like a pack, turning the river into shared territory.
The Amazon's violence is often microscopic. Parasitoids and pathogens deciding life or death on a single leaf.
Camouflage here isn't decoration, it's strategy so precise that your eyes can stare straight at life and miss it.
Electric eels don't shoot lightning, and they generate bioelectric pulses strong enough to stun animals and trigger drowning risks.
Even modern navigation fails battery canopy interference, so teams still fall back on river logic and local knowledge.
Some animals live in a single plant, and bromeliads hold water worlds, turning one leaf cluster into an aquarium.
Even butterflies come to the ground here, not for flowers, but for minerals, gathering in crowds you can't ignore.
Macaws eat clay here, natural chemistry to bind plant toxins. Another reminder the Amazon runs on hidden rules.
Not every mystery is a monster. Sometimes it's optics, moonlight reflections, and moving water turning reality into illusion.
Amazon teaches humility. The moment you think you understand what happened, the evidence dissolves downstream.
People ask, how many species are undiscovered? The honest answer is we don't know. And that's not laziness.
Scientists now read ecosystems from water using environmental DNA, detecting animals you never see on camera.
That's how new records happen.
An animal can be confirmed by molecules first and filmed months later.
Next, we'll peel back the Amazon's human timeline, ancient cities, modern conflict, and why some truths stay hidden by choice.
Long before drones and satellites, the Amazon was mapped by footsteps, many of them ending in silence. Legends like El Dorado pulled people deep into the forest, where reality, illness, and exhaustion often solved the mystery first.
For most expeditions, the Amazon isn't one jungle. It's thousands of crossings, each one a small risk multiplier. Percy Fawcett called it Z, a rumored city in Brazil's interior. Then he vanished in 1925, chasing it.
His fate is still debated. Disease, starvation, violence, accident, because the Amazon rarely leaves clean evidence behind.
Fawcett isn't the only one. Over the last century, many travelers and researchers have disappeared across the basin.
Why the numbers stay fuzzy. Cases are split across countries, remote police stations, and missing paperwork, sometimes forever. Evidence doesn't wait. Rain fills tracks, currents move objects, and within hours, the scene becomes a new scene.
The bullet ant's sting is infamous, but the bigger point is density. The forest floor is loaded with defenses.
Anacondas don't need venom to be lethal, and they rely on power, patience, and water that hides most of their body.
Large mammals live here too, but the Amazon makes them look like rumors because visibility is always borrowed. Amazon river dolphins evolved for dark water, more sonar, more flexibility, built for a world where sight is unreliable.
Stories grow in low visibility. When water is brown and light is fading, your brain invents threats to fill gaps.
Human life here is real and resilient, yet distance from hospitals and roads makes every accident harder to survive.
In Peru, a narrow river runs near boiling temperatures hot enough to scald, powered by geothermal heat, far from volcanoes.
The why is complex. Deep groundwater heated underground can surface here, creating a hazard hidden in plain sight.
Sometimes we detect human history indirectly through plant patterns and soil chemistry and geometry, and the forest can't fully erase. Modern pressures can expose the past and also destroy it. In the Amazon, archaeology and conservation collide constantly.
The Amazon isn't unused wilderness. It's a working landscape where livelihoods depend on plants the world barely understands.
New mammals are rarely discovered by sight. Often it's camera traps, genetics, and patient repetition over years.
Dozens of new amphibians have been described in recent decades because many species live in microhabitats only meters wide.
Arapaima can reach enormous sizes, but they're also vulnerable. Proof that even giants here can be quietly erased.
The river's hydraulics are invisible hazards, snags, eddies, and undertows that don't care how strong you are. The boiling river is real, but it's localized. Step wrong and you're burned. Step back and it's just another mystery. We've covered the visible threats. Next, the hidden ones. Politics, extraction, and why missing stories multiply in the dark.